All right, gang, so I got this airbag. Does not have an internal shock. Screw bolt-on connection to the bottom, 2 screw bolt-on connections on the top, 1/2 inch, and then I have an elbow to go in, and then I'll need a splitter to come off of this to connect into the air supply. We're gonna see if this is gonna work, and I'll see how I can make it work. All right, so now I've got to get the bottom part off of this and put it on here, and that is going to take a 1 socket. All right, so once getting it off, I basically attached it with its rubber piece, rounded, and put it right up on top. I have this 3/8 screw that I will be modifying by cutting it down and using lock nuts on there. So that's what I actually suggest doing. So I'm about to connect this. All right, so just cut it here. I have 6 3/8 locking nuts, and then I have 6 smaller to larger washers, is what they had at the place. All right, so when you connect it, I put it at a slight angle. You see how this is coming in right here? There is a hole you can line this up with, which is perfect, that I'm gonna have to go in and drill out the 3/8 holes in the top of this to then connect. I'll come in right here and bring my wires, my air hoses out and connect. And then it will basically sit there just like this. If I need to put a shocking system in there, that will leave me room to do here and here. And I'll basically just tack weld it on or something. All right, gang, so ease of transaction. I am only gonna connect. We have a single one in the bottom here. Now I kept those 2 on there. I'm only gonna connect one of these and not the other. If this turns out that it works well, then I will go back, drill the extra hole for this. Going in here, we have a 1/2 inch down to 1/4, and then we'll stick this in the top, and I'll show you how it works in a moment. All right, so this is what it looks like. It's gonna come up, connect into this. I've got an extra hole up there, and get this out of the way. Come slide it in. And now that's in there. Got this on. It's lined up. That's what it looks like. I could put a shock in from here to here fairly easy. Weld it. All right, so it's time to add a shock to this. So what I will be doing is taking this bolt, putting it through right here, which will go in my shock. I'm putting a nice size shock on here. It's gonna go in like this. Then I need to create a bracketing system up here at the top for it to connect into. So the idea behind this is cutting some metal, cutting a piece of metal right here, welding on top, coming off, and then over for the top of this to connect into like that. So should be a fairly simple process. I've already got the metal for it. So here's my strip of metal. I'm gonna cut this, drill the 2 mounting holes in it, cut more to come off the top of this and come out for that top piece to hook into, drill a little hole right there, make 2 of those, 1 for each side, enforce the edges a little bit so that we're a little bit more sturdy, but this is a fairly thick piece of metal. All right, so I got most of my pieces cut. All right, so I have my pieces cut. It's gonna go, we have base, we have arm, and then we have the top of this that will sit above it with a hole right there to connect to the top. All right, now, so time to weld this to here to make that upper level. All right, so fairly rough, but essentially this is what it looks like. And this is where it will go to come out, overhang to catch the top of this. And connect in and be the shock and suspension. All right, so I've got the whole assembly mounted and done. Basically throwing a bolt through the bottom where there's already holes, building this bracket and assembly here where there's bolt holes, and then just kind of connected it to that, and sizing. All right, so I've got it finished. I put the bolt through here where there's already a hole, bolted it on, put Loctite on there, connected to the top of this. I built this bracket assembly by welding it and cutting it together, have it on each side. So we have our airbag and jack system, a little bit more suspension than before, and I'm curious to see how it works.